Buddy, my name is Vandit and welcome back to the channel. So, this is the beginning of our DSA series, and I thought of a different way of getting started with the series because there are tons and tons of resources available, to technically go through arrays, and probably they can teach in a far more better and efficient method than I can. So I'll link down some of the resources where you can study about arrays and just to save some time. And what we'll do is technically we'll go through some interview questions which are some cutting edge questions of the entire array is the major questions which we have, and they act as a backlash. Yeah, so that is the agenda of this video. So let's revisit the array. On the internet I've found some of the resources, and so this is I just randomly searched for a website and found its content pretty good. So let's study from this website itself. And perfect. So the website is javahungry.blogspot, and the questions are top 50 Java array interview questions and answers. Array is one of the topic which you cannot miss for the for the interview preparation, and that's very true. So let's cover the questions. All right, and also let me open my Notion as well for the notes as well. So I'll just write a heading h1 heading. That's gonna be our DSA. Inside DSA I'll have the toggle heading h1 arrays. Perfect. Inside the arrays I'm gonna write everything now. Sorry, entire thing will be in full width. Perfect. So what is an so the very first question itself is, what is an array? So array is just technically collection of similar data types, or I have a better definition as well. Array is a collection of homogeneous data types. It can not have different data types. It can hold primitive data types and object references. It has a fixed length in nature, and arrays are created on the heap memory and not the stack memory. Java memory mostly works in heap memory. Stack memory always contains the references, and heap memory always contains the actual values. Okay, so accessing an invalid index of an array will cause an exception. We'll learn more about this after we have gone through the procedure. Question number 1: what's the now let's talk about the alright, so now let's talk about how do you declare arrays in Java. Pretty basic question. What you do is just technically, let me just open VS Code as well, and let's have a temporary .java package, and we'll just delete the bunch of codes and too much code. Yep. So declaring jar. So sorry, declaring arrays in Java is pretty simple. You just write the data type of the array, then square brackets, name of the array, and then you just declare the values using curly braces, and inside them the values are separated by commas. Can definitely you can write it as this as well. The result would be same. You can also write the arrays as int, square brackets followed by a space, then followed by this. You can also write int arr and then braces. So technically this format integer array makes a lot of sense, because here as our naming convention suggests that first of all we initialize the data type of the variable, and after that then when we give the name. So first of all we the basic convention of writing declaring any variable is first of all the data type followed by its name and then value. So it makes sense. See, this is our in this, see, since is a cap, yeah, since this is our data type and arr is our name, so arr is our name. ARR is our name. Perfect. So this is the way of declaring arrays in Java. Now let's move on to the question number 3. What is the defaults value or default? What is the default value of array or different data types? Very good question for the interview purpose. Not for the interview purpose, but these questions are there for you to technically help you when like you're solving some questions, and then technically you want some answers to the question. So that's the place where these questions will be helpful to you. So we have byte, short, int, long. These are the places where the interviewers try to trick you. I mean, I've been in a similar situation, since long short byte are not used so much. Then they just try to trick you with all these double-edged questions. So 0.0 is the default value, and then boolean would be false, and any object, any object command I object command I object would be null. Perfect. Any other object is null. Now moving on to the next question. Can you change the size of an array after creation? So arrays have fixed lengths. You cannot change the size of the array. It's kind of basic. Can you pass negative numbers as array size? So that's a very good trick question. No, you cannot pass the negative number as array sizes. If you pass a negative number as an array size, you will get a compilation error. So you will get a negative array size exception at runtime. Good. Can you declare array without any sizes? Also another question. Or with no size. you'll get a compile time error. Just modify this, not in no size. Okay, perfect. Moving on to the next question. Why does array stored in JVM memory? Array is an object in Java, so array is stored in the heap memory in JVM. Given a primitive array in Java, where does it show JVM stores it? The following this is a follow-up question of question number 7. Array elements, the array will always be an object on heap memory, even if the array is declared to hold primitive elements. Amazing. That's a question, a very good trick question and a follow-up question. So we'll just use this. What is array sorted exception? When is this exception thrown? So array sorted exception, store exception is a runtime exception. Array must contain the same data type elements. This is an exception. Thrown to indicate that an attempt has been made to store the wrong type of object into the array. In other words, if you want to store integer object in a array of strings, you'll get a array store exception. So which makes sense, because in array we have, like, as in the very first question we stated that array is technically your array is a data type where array is a data structure where you store data of homogeneous data type. What is the difference between array store exception and array out of bounds exception? So as the name says, as we already studied, that array store exception and array out of bound exception is technically where you try to first of all, in the array store exception, an attempt has been made to technically assign the values to add the incompatible data types to the array. An array index out of bounds is a type of error you get when it is an error which technically indicates that an attempt has been made to access the elements at an incorrect index, which might be smaller than the given range or in the negative range, or is greater than the available index. For example, if I have an array of size 5 and if I try to access an element which is at 139, for example, it will give me an error. If I try to access an element which is at -1 position, so it will give an error as well. Let me just copy it. What are the advantages of arrays? We can store what are the advantages of arrays? So we can sort multiple elements of an array at the same time using index. We can access the elements of an array at order of 1. So if someone asks you about this, so the major advantage, using index, we can technically access the elements of an array at order of 1 complexity. Disadvantages of an array: to create an array, contiguous memory is required. Array is a static data structure. You cannot increase or decrease the size of the array, and that is where all the other data structures come into play, because since array is the only data structure which is static. Let me just name it. Alright, now how can we use generics with array? No, we cannot use generics with array. What is an anonymous array in Java? Good question. Good question, good question. So let me just copy this as well. What is an anonymous array in Java? An array without any name or reference is known as anonymous array in Java. New int. Now write a program to print elements of array. That's not a use of a that's not the use case right now. For example, write a program to sort an array in Java. Don't have to use that. Write a program to check whether two given arrays are equal. They contain uh, the same data type and same length. And which is legal, int arr or both the state. Okay, yeah, perfect. As I told you even here that both these statements are legal. If I want to declare an array, I can use which is legal int the data type curly then square brackets arr, or the data type int and then the name arr, after that square braces, so square brackets. So both are legal statements. It is preferred to write int arr just because of the obvious reasons that we, first of all, it makes sense to technically, first of all declare the size of the to mention the data type. Now what is the difference between array and array list? I'm gonna just write this question over here just for the sake of it, because right now it doesn't make any sense to discuss array list because it's dynamic. What is the difference between array and linked list? By the time you'll finish the series and by the time you can finish the entire series, you'll have these notes, and when you'll revisit once again, no, you'll have the questions at disposal, because we haven't studied linked lists, so it doesn't make any sense to first of all discuss linked list. How to find a missing number in a given array from 0 to 100? This proper, I have shared the code with explanation here. Finding the missing number. Let's keep this problem aside for some time right now. How to find missing numbers in an array from 0 to 1. What are jagged arrays in Java? Arrays containing arrays of different length is known as jagged arrays. Array containing arrays of different. Okay, perfect. This is something which is new, because you do not get any multi-dimensional array. That's 2D arrays, popularly they're called. So that's known as the jagged arrays. Oh, you know why I like this interview question series? Because you get to clear all your doubts which are technically we overlook. Now let's say look at this 25th question. There are two arrays object containing 100 elements and another containing 50 elements. Both are of same data type. Can we assign one array to another? The answer is yes. An array of 100 elements can be assigned to an array of 50 elements in Java. The only criteria is both the arrays is of same data type. It is because at the time of assigning the values compiler look for the data types of the array and not the size of the array. And it is a beautiful question. I'm gonna take the code as well. I'm gonna write the code over here as well. Let's search for Java. Perfect. the output of the following would be 100. What are the different ways to copy one array from another? By using a for loop, by using clone, by using arrays.copy of, by using system array copy. Write a program to search a specific element in an array. What will happen if you do not initialize an array depending upon the data type? We discuss it will take a default value upon the data type, and default values are stated over here. These are our default values. Once again, the for byte and short long, you have 0, float double is 0.0, boolean is false, and object is null. Perfect. Now we have to how to find duplicate elements in an array. What are the different ways to traverse an array in Java? Using for loop for each loop. Not an important question. Is this a legal way to define arrays? Int square brackets new int 4, then 1 2 3 4. Initialize, you cannot provide the size of an array while you're declaring elements in it. Alright folks, so in this video we discussed about all the questions which were necessary to be answered before lurking in arrays, and it gives you somewhat of the idea of what arrays are, and please make sure that you go through all the links which I'll be providing in the description for learning more about arrays and stuff. So in this video it's more than enough what we have gone through. I'll provide you the links in the down in the description as well. As for talking about our what next is we are gonna solve some of the basic array questions, basic 1D array questions, and basic array questions for the time being, and then after that we can move forward with the strings with the same approach. First of all, we'll go through some interview questions, and strings offers like pretty decent amount of questions, so we'll do that as well. So I guess that is it for this video. Do check out the description for each and everything, and I'll see you in the next one.